So recently there is a lot of talk about Asha's reset Xbox decisions. So I would like to share my few cents about this topic too. So she's planning for around 3,200 layoffs. And with immediate effect, 1,600 workers will be laid off from Xbox division, not entire Microsoft. Today's decision do not reflect their talent or dedication. If their talent and dedication had been benefiting Xbox, these workers would not have been laid off. So that's just polite corporate speak. Our business is now healthy. We are operating at margins that are 10 times lower than comparable platform publishing businesses. So probably she's comparing with PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, etc. To grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at a pace we expected. So a lot of gamers made Godfather out of Phil Spencer for introducing Game Pass. Though Asha is admitting that Game Pass didn't bring the expected results. And its performance is downhill, subscription prices have gone up. While in case of multi-platform, there are few successes like Forza Horizon 5 and Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush. They did pretty well on PS5, and Forza Horizon 5 that sold more on PS5 than Xbox, because Forza Horizon 5 was day one Game Pass release as well. So among Xbox gamers, that reduces willingness to buy a game at a full price. But in the PlayStation ecosystem, gamers pay a full price for these games. And while other games, because currently the first party exclusives of Xbox, similar to PlayStation, they are not good. So their sales were terrible on Xbox and PC. So obviously those games did not sell well on PS5 as well. We must reset Xbox. We lost 64 cents for every dollar we invested. By the way, in accounting, there is a ratio which is known as non-current asset turnover, that shows whether assets of a business are helping in revenue generation. So if Xbox is losing 64 cents for every dollar invested, it means it's only making 36 cents per dollar of investment. So probably she wants to improve that metric for Xbox. The studios which have been affected by this reset Xbox will cover this later. We know that great technology gets better when it gets simpler, not bigger. Today, in some parts of the company, our work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation, even as our player base and playtime have declined. So, main reason for decline in player base and playtime is that Xbox exclusives are mediocre, and the recent Call of Duty Black Ops 7 that was a disaster. So, we will reduce management layers to no more than 5 and where possible 3. We will deliver success through a flatter organization that is built around makers. So by the way, great points made by Asha. And why 40% more employees now than at the start of the generation? And why 14 layers of management needed just for Xbox? So this shows the harm of DI and ESG hirings. Because if a company wants DI and ESG money, it has to hire more black people, more women, more people from the rainbow squads, and for all that, uh, diversity, equity, inclusion officers were also hired at massive salaries. So, so obviously, when hirings will be made on DI and ESG criteria rather than considering whether the applicants have talent and passion for games, and that affected the games as well. So that's great that she will try to reduce the number of employees, and that will simplify decision making. Quicker decisions will be made, and games will also be developed quicker. And last line is amazing. History full of companies that mistake longevity for inevitability. We will not be one of them. So good on part of Xbox for realizing this earlier. And this is the lesson which PlayStation needs to realize. Already PlayStation can see that even though the PS5 console itself is a success, but its sales of its first party games are declining because agenda pushing is more important than making great games. And its live service ambitions are constantly flopping. So, and its recent decision to end game disc by 2028. PlayStation doesn't come back to its senses, the success of PS6 will be affected massively. So now let's talk about the studios in which ASHA did layoffs or let those studios go and become independent. So the first greatest compulsion games. Few months before release of South of Midnight, the community manager attacked gamers that why male gamers were a mistake. So such community managers, rather than interacting with gamers, rather than addressing their queries, rather than addressing their concerns, she was busy in doing nasty tweets against the gamers. And then they expect from the same gamers to buy games. That's not going to happen. So, but because of DI and ESG, she has brand deals. She, her, buy pen, too many flags. And her tweets are protected, obviously. Such people can't handle criticism. And South of Midnight, the performance on Steam DB is pathetic. And obviously, performance of this game is not going to be much different on Xbox and PS5. Even though commercially it's a flop, but it got lots of awards. And journals made headlines that award-winning South of Midnight. Majority of those awards were given because of agenda pushing in South of Midnight. And awards are usually given that how much agenda pushing a game has and how much it pissed off the actual gamers. And Last of Us 2 is a great example of that. More number of gamers it pissed off, more awards it got, and even it became a game of the year by rigging. So if these awards had benefited Xbox financially, Asha would not have let commercial games go and become independent. Then another Double Fine Games. By the way, they took consultancy services of Anita Sarkeesian, a controversial figure who prioritizes agenda pushing in games rather than a game which is great to play. So you guys can see that as soon as they became independent, it had to lay off workers. So if Double Fine Studios had been doing well commercially, it would not have to lay off workers. And by the way, this clown was proud on on taking consultancy services from Anita Sarkeesian. Now his studio is in financial troubles. And by the way, she's quite responsible for destroying female characters in games. So she pushes an agenda that female characters should not be sexualized at all. While here you guys can see that though she's not a Very beautiful woman, but she cares a lot about her appearance and her looks. And you can see in the way she does her hair as well. And by the way, for her own self, wearing a tight shirt, which is revealing the size of her chest. Here you can see that she's wearing a revealing top, which is exposing her cleavage. And such pants are quite fitting as well. That reveals the bottom part of the body. And in games, female characters can't even have a top similar to hers. So obviously, in order to get work from clients and in order to attract clients, to an extent she sexualizes herself. That's okay. But female characters in games, the fictional characters cannot be sexualized. So this shows that she's just a grifter. And another id Software. By the way, I've not yet played Doom 2016, Doom Eternal. I'm quite excited for them, so I will buy them later and play. Amazing games. And on PS5, their performance get further enhanced. And Doom Eternal is one of the best PS5 upgrades for free. But the recent game they made, Doom the Dark Ages, that didn't do well. And id Software was trying to portray the success of the game by showing the number of players. And this is a Microsoft, this is an Xbox studio, so it was a day one Game Pass release as well. So if majority of the gamers are playing game on Game Pass, so that's not showing the success of the game. So id Software tried to hide a number of copies sold for Doom the Dark Ages, and they have not yet been revealed yet. So it means the game didn't do well in terms of sale. While Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, they were quite successes in terms of copies sold. So if Doom the Dark Ages had been a great massive success, id Software would not have to lay off workers. And I can say for sure that id Software also been hijacked by activists because in Doom the Dark Ages they made one of the female characters look like this. So seems like a face of a man in a woman's body. So this is one of the factors that also turned gamers off and they did not buy Doom the Dark Ages. And I'm also one of them. So I will pass on Doom the Dark Ages. Will buy the two older Doom games. And another is Ninja Theory. So they made Hellblade games, which are movie-like games, movie flop, in which there is no gameplay at all. And another thing is quite problematic that too much focus on storytelling, narrative rather than gameplay. I think so. In gaming, gameplay is the most important. The OG Resident Evil 4, its story was shit. It was garbage, but the presentation of that story was quite good. Each and every cutscene was quite entertaining to watch, and the gameplay was fantastic. So the Asian games, they focus more on gameplay, and then their secondary focus is on storytelling. So movie like games, and then the ugly female characters in Hellblade games. So playing entire game with a female character that doesn't look good, that's a hard idea to sell. So that's both games did not sell well. So that's why if Hellblade 2 Senua's Sacrifice had sold well, Asha would not have let Ninja Theory go. And Arcane. So their most recent game was Deathloop, and Deathloop. If you see the trailers of Deathloop, if you see the gameplay of Deathloop, if you see the gameplay clips of Deathloop, that's DI and ESD game made for DI and ESD money. Now, last thing I would like to cover is The way in which Asha Sharma is trying to understand Xbox versus the previous Sarah Bond.
Tag. Do you game now, and like how much time do you spend fiddling around with it?
Yes, I'm not a gamer, but I do play games now because that is our core way that we reach our audience.
And that's great on part of it that she admitted that she is not a gamer. But once she became head of CEO of Xbox, she has started to playing games. She's trying to understand gaming. So that's what matters.
And so, again, in my first 100 days, I've been trying to learn and listen and understand what makes this art form amazing. And what's interesting is there's a lot of people who are gamers that you never would have known until you start to pick up a controller. And so there's something about that. Look, when in a world in which everybody's attempting to automate the economy, there's something wonderful to just be able to escape and have memories and connect to something that you deeply care about and that's deeply personal. And I think that's what games do.
And though even his own company, even her own company is hell bent on AI. But even in a few days of playing games, she realized that the experience and the memories which gaming brings for a lot of people. And though Phil Spencer, he was also a gamer, but he made horrible decisions, and he's quite responsible for the damage of Xbox. Now let's compare that with another co-CEO or one of the officers of previous executives of Xbox, Sarah Bond.
Of growth, and this was also one of the key bets in the Activision acquisition was mobile. What's the Xbox plan for future mobile gaming, and when can we finally see it?
It feels like it's been a long time since we announced the Activision acquisition, which we completed in October. And the whole thesis about that, a lot of why we did it was about mobile.
So that's one of the pathetic answers I've ever heard. She asked that why did you acquire Activision? So, and I think so. The main reasons for acquiring Activision and Blizzard were Call of Duty and the games with massive fan bases of Blizzard like World of Warcraft, Diablo, etc. And she's just saying that because of mobile games we acquired Activision. King is the maker of Candy Crush. That's just a part of Activision, not entire Activision Blizzard.
And we felt strongly that there has been an opportunity for there to be an experience on mobile that is centered around gamers. Like we talk a lot about how there's 3 billion gamers in the world. 2 of those billion play on mobile, and half of those actually play on mobile and they play on another device.
I think so. Gamers don't look towards Xbox for mobile games. They can do that on their own by downloading games from the Google Play Store or App Store. I think so. Gamers look towards Xbox for the proper gaming experiences, the AAA games or the AA games, etc. For just playing mobile games, they don't need to come to Xbox. So you guys can see that she even fails to understand the basic charm of the Xbox brand. That's why gamers look towards Xbox brand. She just saying she's just bragging about mobile games, the success of mobile games, mobile games, mobile games. That's why she was laid off. If she had brought value to Xbox, she would not have been laid off.
But there isn't actually a gaming platform and store experience that is centered around players and goes truly across device.
And you might have seen her and you guys might have seen her previous interviews, appearances, etc., in which agenda pushing was more important for her, and she always used to start with her pronouns. So though Asha Sharma is also part of the corrupt system, firstly Microsoft is fully hell bent on DI and ESG. So Asha Sharma doesn't have complete free will, but I think so she's trying to do better for the Xbox brand. And whether she actually understands the Xbox brand and whether her decisions will benefit Xbox and whether she will free Xbox of agenda pushing and wokeness, that will become apparent in few months or 1 or 2 years.